Hi, everybody. Thanks for your patience in us getting started here. And with Tom Engelberger's act, it's a hard one to follow. I'm so glad that you're all here for our five-star, five-author extravaganza. I'm Karen McPherson. I'm the Children's and Teen Coordinator here at the Tacoma Park, Maryland Library. Well, thank you. I truly have the best job in the world. We're the only small independent library in Maryland, and so we've teamed up with Politics and Prose Bookstore, which is a wonderful independent bookstore, to offer events like the one tonight. Before we get started with tonight's event, I want to tell you just a little bit about an event on Sunday. We have another event coming up on Sunday in the children's room of the library at 1 o'clock with Caldecott medalist John Klassen. So please come out to that. In fact, he and Mac Barnett, who's one of our authors here tonight, have teamed up to create a great new picture book, which is getting a lot of buzz as a possible Caldecott book. It's called Sam and Dave Dig a Hole. He's got holding it there. That's great. So you could have Mac sign a copy tonight and John sign a copy on Sunday if you want. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to give a little brief introduction of each of these five authors, and then they'll come out or do whatever. They're sort of moderating themselves tonight, so it's going to be, I think, seriously hilarious. Author number one. This author has written books for adults with intriguing titles like K is for Knife Ball, An Alphabet of Terrible Advice, and All My Friends Are Dead, a book that shows a dinosaur on the cover. He's written a kid's book titled Pirate's Log, a handbook for aspiring swashbucklers. That's a hard word to say. And he creates comics about animals with problems. Now he's teamed up with another of the authors on this stage to create a new series about a couple of very clever pranksters called The Terrible Two. And we're raffling some of those books off tonight. Please welcome Jory John. Author number two. Our second author studied medieval literature in college. He got his start in children's books with a hand from another author who will be on our stage, John Cheska. He writes a mystery series for kids called The Brixton Brothers and is the author of such favorite picture books as Chloe and the Lion, Counting the Monkeys, and the 2013 Caldecott Honor Book, Extra Yarn, illustrated by John Klassen. Author number two is here today to talk about his newest series for kids, The Terrible Two, written with Jory John. Please welcome Mac Barnett. Author number three calls herself quite a hermit. Her studio is a red barn from Home Depot, outfitted with electricity and lots of illustrated kids' books about sock monkeys, a rabbit and robot duo, and a wig-wearing bee, an itty-bitty dog, and a cranky Yankee Doodle. Those are some of the books that she's written. In her newest book, she writes about herself as a child dealing with hearing loss and friendship struggles. Her book, El Defo, is getting raves from kids and critics alike. Please welcome C.C. Bell. Author number four. As a child, this author spent much of his time folding, creating origami creatures, and also nurturing his passion for all things Star Wars. He created his first comic strip in the 7th grade. Author number four majored in art at the College of William and Mary, where he also met his wife, C.C. Bell. While he kept up his art in his spare time, this author made his living for years as a columnist for the Roanoke Times in Virginia. Then he came up with the Stooky, cool idea for a series of books about a middle school class guided by an origami Yoda. The series has been a runaway best-selling hit with kids, and now this author writes and illustrates full-time. Please welcome Tom Engelberger. Author number five, last but never least, is our fifth author. He grew up as the second of 6 boys in Flint, Michigan. After college, he taught elementary school in New York City, where he saw firsthand that there was a need for more funny books for kids. So this author teamed up with illustrator Lane Smith to create the Caldecott Honor Classic, The Stinky Cheese Man, as well as other kid-friendly books like The True Story of the Three Pigs, written by A. Wolf, the Time Warp Trio series, and his own hilarious autobiography titled Knucklehead. If you haven't seen this book, I suggest you do. This author pioneered two awesome websites for reluctant readers called Guys Read and Guys Listen. Perhaps his crowning achievement, though, is that he was the first ever national ambassador for young people's literature. Please welcome Ambassador Jon Scieszka.
All right, so what we've got here tonight is a lot of authors, not much time. So
ready, go. My book is all about.
So Cece has developed a system to keep us on schedule here. Each author will be allotted 3 minutes to talk about their entire life's work. And at the end of the 3 minutes, they will be honked off the stage by Hamlet here. Okay? So 3 minutes and you're done, Scieszka.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how many books you've written, you're out. Okay.
Should we start now? So let's take it.
No.
Too soon?
I'm going first.
Oh, you go first, right?
Okay. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Start. Ready? Tell me when you're starting.
Okay. And go.
Okay. All right. So, oh wait, this wasn't ready. This shouldn't count against me.
What's Peter Brown doing?
This guy Peter Brown was here and he drew all over our board. You guys know Peter Brown? If I rip this picture, it's like $300 for an original Peter Brown. So if I rip it, oh no. You're not counting this against me.
We are.
Yeah, the clock is ticking, Engelberger.
All right, so I wrote these books called, anybody know what they're called?
Origami Yoda!
Right, it's called Origami Yoda, and it's about this kid. Anybody know what the kid is called? Yeah, the kid's name is Dwight, and Dwight is like the weirdest kid in the whole school, right? I mean, he looks weird. His hair is weird. His clothes are weird. Anybody know what it says on his t-shirt? What's it say on his t-shirt? Right, it says Biggie Size My Combo. I actually don't have to yell. That's very nice. It says Biggie Size My Combo for 39 cents on his t-shirt. He's the weirdest kid in the whole school, right? And that actually raises a question. Why would I choose to write a book about the weirdest kid in the whole school? I mean, I could be writing about anything I wanted to write about. I could write like one of those cheese books. Cheese books are very popular.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, Mr. Engelberger.
Books about people without any clothes on. Those are very popular. Books about depressing books are very popular. Very depressing. That kind of book is very popular. I could write like a graphic novel, except for the fact that I can't draw. I could write a graphic novel. But instead, I don't write one of those books. I write a book about the kid who's the weirdest kid in the whole school. Why? Why do I do this? Why would I write a book about the weirdest kid in the whole school? Larry, do you know? Your name is Larry, is that right? Larry, go right ahead. Why do you think I write about the weirdest kid in the whole school? Okay, he's talking about, in the book, the kid named Dwight, he makes really cool origami, including Origami Yoda. He's the guy that made Origami Yoda. But still, I could have made the book about like a football player that made origami or a beautiful girl that makes origami. Instead, it's this weird kid. Why? Why? What do you think? We're the weirdest kid in the whole school. What? Yeah, what is the deal?
1 minute.
You're not
1
even
minute,
a
Mr.
child.
Engelberger.
You shouldn't have had your hand up in the first place. No, he's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct. The reason I write about the weirdest kid in school is because I was the weirdest kid when I was in school. I was the second shortest and the most weirdest. And so that raises the question, that explains the reason I write about this guy is I don't have to do any research, right? Like this guy here wasted like a month studying President Taft. I don't have to do that kind of stuff, man, because I already know what it's like to be this weird dude that can't shut up about Star Wars, because I love Star Wars. So that leaves us just one last question, and you better not honk me. One last question. If Dwight's the weirdest kid at his school, and I'm the weirdest kid at my school, raise your hand if you're the weirdest kid at your school. Anybody? You, over there, down here. These guys, the whole front row, weird. Weird here, over here, weird. That guy's very weird. He's got 2 hands up. Weird, weirdo, strange, very weird. Weirdest kid at school.
Time's up.
Guys. Now may I, I don't have anything left. I got nothing left. May I introduce Cece Bell.
All right, are we ready? Okay, go. All right, so my book is El Defo. It is a graphic novel, and it is basically the story of my life. And basically that story is, in 1975, when I was 4 years old, I got very, very, very sick with something called meningitis, and I got better almost. The one thing that went wrong was that I lost about 90% of my hearing in both ears. So what happened next was I got a hearing aid, and for 1 year in my life, I got to be in a school with kids who were just like me, that had hearing aids and everything like that, and we learned ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, but we also learned how to lip read. So I got really good at lip reading. But then, after that first year in school, I ended up moving, my family moved, and I got outfitted with a different, more spectacular hearing aid just for this new school. And it was a school in which it was just like any other school. I was the only deaf kid in my class and the only deaf kid in the entire school. So I brought it for you today, and I'm going to put it on real quick. How much time do I got?
Got like a minute 45.
That's it. All right. So every day I strap this puppy on. La, 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 la. And so I put it on every day. I put the cords up to my ears just like this. And because I was the only kid wearing one of these, I was very, very embarrassed and very self-conscious. So when the other kids asked me, what in the world is going on with you? What are you wearing? Because I had it covered. I never wore it out in public like this. I had it covered. I would say, I am pregnant. I'm going to have a baby. Pregnant. And I don't know how it got there. So don't ask me. So anyway, I'm wearing this, and this works together with this, a teacher's microphone, very much like this microphone, except it made my teacher's voice louder and clearer, but only for me. And what I discovered was I could hear my teacher in the classroom great. I could hear her loud and clear, like she was talking right in my ear, and that was perfect. That's what made wearing this worth it. And then I very soon discovered that not only was I hearing her wherever she was in the classroom, but I could hear her in the entire school building. Okay? So I was like a spy. I could hear my teacher talking to other teachers about how terrible we were. I could hear her smoking in the teacher's lounge. Remember, it was the 70s, and that was allowed. I also heard her doing that very personal, private act known as going to the bathroom. I heard it all. And so I was ODEFO. All right, thanks. Whew, that's hard to do. So next up are the amazing Mac Barnett and Jory John.
Right. How about a big round of applause for us? Big round of applause for us. Thank you. Oh yeah, we're not using that. Hey.
Hey everybody, I'm Mac Barnett.
I'm Jory John. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, we make books together. We made a book together called The Terrible Two. It is not out yet.
We're not going to show you tonight. Just kidding.
Boom!
There it is. Take a look at this.
Oh, that is the only copy that exists in America.
Yeah, everyone can file by and touch it, but you can't have it tonight, unfortunately.
That's right.
Except you have one right there. So nice work on that. I don't know how you got that.
So Jory and I have been friends for 10 years.
Hey, what's happening?
Oh.
I just want to see this work.
All right.
I've had this nightmare before. I've had a nightmare standing in front of a group Well, a guy honks a horn at me. All right, back to you, Ben.
It's all coming true.
Joy and I have been friends for 10 years.
Good friends.
We've also been in a decade-long prank war.
Prank war.
And we thought that maybe writing a series together would be easier on our friendship than mercilessly pranking each other.
That's right. Unfortunately, we are planning on breaking up around book 3.
Yeah, it's been harder on our friendship than our pranks.
Yeah.
But we will make it to book 3.
Right. So look for that in stores in 3 years.
So I'm going to tell you what this book is about. It is about 2 kids who are master pranksters. Now, our first kid, Miles Murphy, he shows up to school one day. He wants to be the same kid he was at his last school. You know, on your first day of school, you can choose whoever you're going to be. And he decides, I'm going to be the prankster. As he walks into school, a brilliant prank is executed, and he realizes the school already has a prankster. And if he can't be the prankster at this school, he's a nobody. So he knows that he must unmask this prankster and out-prank this prankster in a devastating prank war.
Wow, that sounds so good. I thought we were clapping here.
Hold on.
That sounded so good to me.
Yeah. I don't want just your applause right then. I want it right now. We're gonna do this
Let's do it again.
He has to find that prankster, unmask that prankster, and out-prank that prankster in a devastating prank war.
Wow.
So right now, what we are going to do is we're going to all swear you in as pranksters. Now, will somebody in the front row touch this book?
Who wants to touch the book?
Yeah, anybody can. You can get your hand on it.
Okay.
Everybody, get this flu going. Let's get the disease to the front.
All right. Now what we need, we want to create a connection in this room.
Touch somebody who is touching this book, and then touch somebody next to you.
Final minute to touch someone. Final minute to touch 1 minute to touch someone.
You have a minute to touch somebody in your life. One man looks disgusted. Absolutely disgusted. Touch somebody next to you. Somebody's touching me. All right. Everybody, raise your left hand and repeat after me. On my honor, I will do my best. To be good at being bad. To disrupt but not destroy. To embarrass the dour and amuse the merry. To devote my mind to James Caper's shenanigans and monkey business. And to prove the world looks better turned upside down. For I am a prankster. So be it. We're in.
Good enough, huh?
Nice work, everybody. This microphone still works. That's good.
What do you have to say in your microphone,
I don't
Jerry?
want to take up your time, but I want to tell you a few things.
We got a lot of time now. The timer's not even on.
I kid.
Hey,
Have we
John, make
started?
sure you don't rip up that piece of art Tom did, because it's as good as Peter Brown's art. So.
Too late. Now we're gonna. Oh, hi. I'm John Cheska.
We gotta do the true story of the 3 pigs, the stinky cheese man, Guys Reed, and with Mr. Mac Barnett and I, we did Battle Bunny, which looks like it was a book that got destroyed, but it got improved. So what I'm working on now is an entire series that will explain all of science in 6 books. Thank you. So Frank is a 10-year-old genius. He knows everything. And then, in a clever move by the writer, he helps some robots make themselves so they know even more stuff. So throughout 6 books, they will cover all of science. And in book 1, we learn all about matter in Frank Einstein and the antimatter motor. And Frank and his pal Watson invent the craziest inventions together with the robots Clink and Clank. And of course, there's a bad guy. It's Thomas Edison. T. Edison, loosely based on someone who sounds just like that in history, who stole some other people's ideas. And his chief financial officer,
Mr. Chimp.
yes, Mr. Chimp, who is a chimpanzee who escaped from a product testing laboratory. They were trying shampoo in his eyes for a long time. He figured he had enough of that. He taught himself sign language, and he escaped. So he speaks throughout the book in American Sign Language, in the American one. And throughout the book, there's a million diagrams that will teach you everything. From, pretty grandiose, huh? Like from matter and antimatter to E equals mc squared. All explained right in book 1. So man, I don't even need any more.
Drop it again.
Yeah, keep going. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Frank Einstein.
Why did you have to rip off my drawing?
Well, I just removed
What did that have to do with it?
Oh yeah, that was absolutely terrible to just rip a great piece of art.
No reason to.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that, Tom. No, I'm mocking you too, Tom.
Oh, you
Yeah,
merry
boom.
prankster.
Is that better?
We'll be taking bids. We'll be taking bids on the Sheska drawing.
That was hurtful.
We're going to start at $15.
This man was my hero.
Yeah, so we'll take some questions from the audience.
That's actually the
now.
Stinky Cheese Man.
Over here. So I guess you should go over to that microphone to ask a question if you would. Start with, okay.
Second
All right.
microphone.
Oh, we
Okay.
stole the other one.
Excellent. And authors, if you could please speak into your microphones.
Right now, simultaneously like that?
Who's over there? What's your name? Is your name Larry? Is that right? What is that guy doing?
He's cutting a line. He's cutting a line.
Wait your turn, bub. Okay, here he comes. Here he comes.
Here's a question.
Is there gonna be a 5th Brixton Brothers?
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. That's a great question. Is there going to be a 5th Brixton Brothers book? Brixton Brothers is a detective series I write, and there are 4 of them. I know what the 5th book is going to be about. I know what it's called. In fact, if you've read the 4th book, you might know what it's going to be called. A Message from a Maniac. If you read the whole series, you might even have a guess of who the maniac is in that book. I haven't started writing it, though. That's the problem. That's the hardest part of the job. It's
Classic
all up
writer
here,
problem.
and none of it is here. But maybe. I think I would write it eventually. And if I don't write that book, I'm also thinking of just writing some Brixton Brothers short stories and maybe just mailing them out to the people who signed up for the email list. Because I haven't sent a single email out to the mailing list. I got a bunch of great emails. They're all up here. They're all up here. Thank you for that great question.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Larry
And sorry for the
Barnett.
disappointing answer.
Are you gonna make an Origami Yoda movie?
Will there be an Origami Yoda movie? Has Hollywood called yet?
Still waiting.
Yeah, still waiting on Hollywood to decide to make that movie. But if it was a movie and you were one of the actors, which character would you play?
Harvey.
Harvey, the bad guy?
He's so funny.
Yeah, he is kind of funny, isn't he? All right, thanks, dude. See you, Harvey.
He went evil right away.
It says on the cover of this book, the final book in the New York Times best-selling series. Is it actually going to be the last book you write in this series?
Yes, it is the last book in the Origami Yoda series. However, being a Star Wars licensee, my contract does leave a loophole open for prequels, sequels, and holiday specials. Thanks, Larry.
Is Origami Yoda real?
Wow, that's a great question. Have you read the last book yet?
I'm still on it.
Okay, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but at the end of the book, it does explain everything. Yes. So everything gets explained at the end of the book. Should I just tell you, or do you want to finish reading it?
Actually, could you just tell me, Tom?
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Telling us, that would be helpful.
Yeah, that'll be faster, Tom. Just tell us.
Do we have any other questions? Come to the mics. We do have a mic over
Yeah,
here now.
people on that
go
side.
for
Or
it.
just
You can
yell
do
them
it.
out.
You're
You can just
allowed.
yell it out.
Yeah, if you would go to the mic, please, because they asked us to do that. Thank you. Sorry.
Thanks, Jessica,
Yeah,
for messing
John.
up. The
They made everyone come down out of their seats.
Yes.
Did you consult with any real scientists on that antimatter stuff?
Did we consult with any real science? I'm a real scientist, unlike most of the Republicans in the country.
Political.
They said they're not scientists.
Political.
Political. It just turned ugly. That was a very sad. Yes, I do actually. That's one of my favorite parts of doing this is I get to talk to a mess of scientists. So, and in fact, we really have to sweat the details of like how antimatter works. Yes, on this side.
Tom, why did you make Origami Yoda, not Origami Obi-Wan or somebody else that's more of a star? Why make Yoda?
That's a great question. That's a very good question. The reason it's Origami Yoda, I've been doing origami my whole life. I've loved Star Wars my whole life, and Yoda was always my favorite character. So when one day I was online and I saw an origami Yoda folded by a Japanese origami master named Kawahata. And you can all run home and Google it. It's really there. Kawahata Yoda is amazing. It'll blow your mind. Unfortunately, I am not all that good at origami. So all I could do was make a really simple version. But I was inspired by really making this thing in real life. And I put it on my finger. And then it told me to write the book. And that's how it all happened. What? That's how things work.
We
Let's
better
go
get
over
a
to this
question
side.
from that side, yeah.
In Origami Yoda, is there in the last book? Is there gonna be? Is the principal replaced yet when she becomes the teacher again?
Oh my gosh,
is
dude,
the
you
new
just
principal-
spoiled the whole series.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. No, I better not say anything about what happened. We can talk about that privately
Okay.
afterwards. I don't want to spoil it for everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for your question, dude. We'll talk about it. All right.
Yeah, this side.
What kind of pranks did you guys pull on each other?
Oh, that's a good
Question.
question.
It's been 10 years worth. So do you have a little while? Okay, you want to start in 04?
Well, yeah. One time I tricked Jory. I had him over to my house for dinner, and then I ran out to pretend like I forgot something I needed for dinner. But what I actually did is I took his car keys.
This is true.
And I had a copy made of his car key. Then, about a month later, at night, I went and I wrapped his car in wrapping paper.
Wrapping paper.
And I tied a big bow on it. And the next morning, when he went to unwrap it and thought that that's what the prank was, the car was also filled with packing peanuts. Biodegradable.
It's true.
No, it wasn't. It was 2004. It was not biodegradable. I'm sorry. But
Political.
yeah, and then
That's
I found out at the very end of this that it was actually his girlfriend's car.
Yep.
Pretty good prank, though.
Good one,
Pretty
right?
good prank.
Yeah. Great question. Thanks.
Yeah, on the other side.
Why did you write a book about President Taft?
Oh, why did I write a book about President Taft? Well,
Yeah,
a lot
what
of
were you
reasons.
I mean,
thinking,
it
man?
seems like such a pointless subject.
It seems like such a pointless subject.
Wow, it got really political, Mac.
Well, I've always been into the presidents, and the thing that I remembered most about President Taft was always this thing that he was stuck in the bathtub. And it's very serious. Stop laughing. Stop it. You guys are ridiculous. But it's in all these books, like 101 facts about the president. But when I did some research, it turned out that there was no proof that this happened. So if there's no proof that it happened, is it a fact? No. But if we've been telling the story for 100 years, what is it then? Because it's a little bit more than a fiction. It's in this weird place. And a lot of history's like that. When you look at a lot of things that are held up as history, when you look closely, they sort of start to become fuzzy and disappear. And I love things like that. I love stories that exist in between reality and fiction. That's my favorite place to write. And this was a story that did that for me.
So the only significance of President Taft is that he was always in a bathtub?
Well, you know what? He didn't do a lot of other things as president.
He did a couple other things.
He was an okay president. He wasn't the most famous president, but he was a pretty good guy. But actually, for me, the fact that he was stuck in a bathtub tells me something so important about it. Why do we remember this story more than any other thing? And it's because it's a story when our president is human. And stuff like that, I feel like we're all victims of our bodies, right? I certainly am. My body's never doing what I want it to do. And that's been true since I was a kid, and it's true now. And I think we think the presidents, they're the most powerful people in the world. They can do anything. But they're just humans who are victims of their bodies, too. And I think when we tell kids, you could be president, anybody in this country could be president. Now, here's a book about George Washington. He was the most amazing man who ever lived. Look, he did all these great things. That doesn't sound like me. I'm a lot more like President Taft. And I think stories that make our presidents human are really important. So that's the significance of him getting stuck in a bathtub.
Hey, Mr. Taft. Yeah, this side.
Tom, who is your favorite evil character in Star Wars?
Oh, my favorite evil character. Well, first of all, who's yours?
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett! Oh, but is he really evil? Yeah, I guess he is. My favorite is General Grievous. I love the General. In fact, General Grievous was going to get his own book called General Cheesius. But when I tried to make General Cheesius out of cheese, nobody could tell what it was. It looked like a shriveled banana or something. And nobody was going to buy a book called like Darth Shriveled Banana. So anyway, but I do love General Grievous. Thanks, dude.
Is there such thing as antimatter? Because I'm not really clear about that.
Is there such thing as antimatter? Yes. Okay. And if antimatter gets put together with matter, it makes a crazy annihilation.
I think I know that.
That makes a ton of energy. So be careful. Now we've worried everyone. Yes, on this side.
Go for it, man.
John Cheska, do you have an embarrassing life?
John Cheska, do I have an embarrassing life? Let me think for a minute.
I would say right now, yeah.
yeah, maybe it just took a turn for the embarrassing. Were you talking about the time I peed on the heater? Or maybe the time I threw up on Greg? Or broke his collarbone? Or all of those?
All three.
No, actually, I've had a very entertaining life with 5 brothers because then it was so easy to write those stories. I didn't actually have to make any up. I could just write them. And now I get paid for it. But yes, I think I do have an embarrassing life.
For Frank Einstein, did you ever attempt any of the experiments?
Did I ever attempt any of the experiments? Yes, I do them all. Though it was hard to make the Hadron Collider, it's kind of expensive for $35. And then the antimatter one got kind of out of hand. But I'm doing better with static electricity for book 2.
Did you ever create a levitating skateboard?
A levitating skateboard, yes. Maglev. Because Tom actually wanted one.
It didn't work.
Well, yeah, I'm working on it still. Oh, you can pick up that mic, yeah. Or just twist it.
Okay.
Or not.
John, what's your favorite type of science?
Oh, I like all different kinds of science. I kind of love the stuff that you can see more, though, I think. Like dissecting worms and frogs and cats and baby pigs.
That's awesome.
And cow eyeballs.
We really divided the audience into 2 camps.
Yeah, it was kind of yes and no there. But I also love doing good for humanity.
Way to bring it back.
My other favorite science.
Oh, John, have you ever actually built a robot? Just not not having any other help from any other
Yes.
adult?
Not other help from an adult. Yes. We've gone down some weird roads here. Yeah, actually, I've built a bunch of robots. A lot of them don't work, though. That's kind of what I based Frank on. I was hoping a robot could self-assemble itself better than I could.
Have you built robots?
Never.
It's possible. Do it.
But I don't know where to get like all those like engine like.
Oh, start with like your toaster and then your dad's watch.
Not do that.
Oh, bad advice. Cut up some animals. No. Over on this side.
Where does the dirt go when Sam and Dave dig a hole?
Oh, that's a good question. Where does the dirt go
Wow,
in
that's
Sam
a
and
great
Dave dig a
question.
hole?
That's a lot of dirt.
That's a big question. So, because you can see this is a book, two kids dig a hole, and it gets deeper and deeper. Here it is, it's pretty deep. There it is. They missed this gem. Oh, they missed that gem. Then they keep digging till eventually there's no dirt to dig through anymore. And they fall. And the place that they fall, when they land, looks a lot like their house.
Is it the
But it's not quite their house.
Is
So-
it the underworld?
Is it the underworld? That's a great theory. It's possible. It seems like it really might be the underworld. And the fact that it could be the underworld or a parallel universe or something like that should tell you that this book is not based on strict science. So don't worry about the dirt.
Also, one more thing.
Yeah.
When they split up,
Yes.
Why does the diamond not fall on whoever
Oh,
is
that's
digging
a
on the
great
bottom?
question. Why does the diamond not fall when they split up, which is in this spread right here? So you can see here they go around. They miss it here. It's because this type of what we're seeing right now, it's called a cross section. So some video games work like this. There's a video game, Dig Dug, that I used to play that worked like this. And some cartoons, you'll see this too. So actually right here, coming out in 3D toward you would be dirt, and here would be dirt, and here would be dirt. And so it's being held up by dirt all around it. And basically they've dug a tunnel underneath the dirt. Just like if you dig a tunnel deep down low, it doesn't fall in on you if it's a really good tunnel. Just like these guys, they're structural engineers. They know how to do it. So yeah, it's actually, I know it looks like it's floating, but it's called a cross section. And it's just kind of a crazy way to look at the world, but that's the point of view.
Oh, now it's science.
Yeah. I checked with John. He said it works.
It works.
And my last question
Yes.
is
Three-part question.
that how do they make it exactly parallel?
How do they make it exactly parallel? When? At what point?
All of it, I guess.
Like, wait, what do you mean by parallel?
Like when they dig the tunnel, it's parallel.
Like it's such a straight tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just good. Yeah. Thank you for those questions. I'm glad. I love how much you're thinking about this, and I love the underworld theory too. That's good stuff.
Yes.
John, who do you think was your most annoying brother?
Who was my most annoying brother? Greg. Hands down. Like number 4. Don't tell him if you run into him, but he's still the most annoying guy. And we didn't break his collarbone on purpose. It was just accidentally.
With 8 pounds of pressure.
With exactly 8 pounds of pressure and 5 times. Sorry, Greg.
Last time I came up here, I forgot to ask you a question.
Yes, I'm glad you're back.
Is Frank Einstein a book that can help my brother with IB physics?
With what kind of physics?
IB.
IB physics? I
International
hadn't heard of that, but I'm
Baccalaureate.
going to say yes.
Absolutely. But you have to buy 5 copies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's important that you buy them in hardcover also. It'll definitely help.
It's the IB edition.
Yeah. Yes.
Is there gonna be another Star Wars series?
Oh, am I going to write another Star Wars series? Well, I got a phone call from Lucasfilm, and they asked me to write not a whole series. They wanted to get 3 different authors to write 3 different books. So one author got to write A New Hope, Episode 4, and another author got to write Empire Strikes Back, and they asked me to write Return of the Jedi. So that's going to be my next Star Wars book. Is actually going to be not an origami, but actual real Star Wars. Like actual real Ewoks, like chopping up stormtroopers and stuff. It's going to be awesome.
And I just have an add-on. Living in D.C., I love the last book having taken place in the Air and Space Museum, and that was classic class trip.
You know what? They invited me to come to an event, and then all of a sudden the event got canceled, and I was wondering if they hadn't read the book, and then they read the book and found out about the stuff that happens at their museum in the book, and then decided maybe they shouldn't have invited me.
Well, I was curious what inspired you. I know you're from the area. What inspired you to write about that at the last?
Oh, well, that was the classic field trip, because I grew up down near Stanton. So it's like 3 hours on a bus to get here. They drop you off the Air and Space Museum. You go around the Air and Space Museum all day. You get back on the bus. You go home, and you eat astronaut ice cream the whole way home, and you vomit. And that's a field trip.
Why did you think of the name of the airplane Bell X-1?
Oh, no, that's real. There really is. You go to the Smithsonian, and you go up to the balcony, you look straight ahead, you see the Bell X-1, which was the airplane Chuck Yeager used to break the sound barrier. Okay, so it's a real thing. I don't make anything up. Almost everything in the book is real. I've got no imagination. Yeah, it's totally real. You can go and see it.
Cece, I have two questions. Okay. Why are all the characters in your books bunnies? And are you gonna write like another version of El Deafo? You know, like a modern.
First of all, why is everybody a bunny? Okay. Which I've been meaning to ask you also.
That's an excellent question.
And also, is there going to be a sequel?
Okay, good question, thank you. Everybody is a bunny because bunnies are cute. They are cuter than humans. No, but the real reason is that rabbits have very big ears, and they have ears that work really well. They can hear really well. And I thought it would be a great way to show what it felt like as a kid to be the only bunny rabbit in a world of bunny rabbits whose ears do not work. And so there was that part of it, and also in the drawings in the book, the cords that go up to my ears in real life came up to here. But in the book, when I have rabbit ears, they have to go all the way above my head. And that's more what it felt like, because I thought everybody was looking at me all the time. So they must be all the way up to here. So in terms of a sequel, I would love to do a sequel. And if I did, there would be a lot of Michael Jackson and Prince. Because, not because I liked them. I did not like them one bit. But I had friends who kept trying to get me to see how wonderful Michael Jackson and Prince were. And so music would probably be the theme of the second book, and what it's like for me to hear and not understand all those crazy lyrics and all that crazy stuff. So I hope so, but it'll be a while if I do. So thank you.
Thank you.
John, did you enjoy the Whopper you were finishing while Tom juggled Sharpies?
Speaking of Whoppers.
Wow, Tom. Yeah, what have you been telling the people? The Whopper was delicious. I must say, more of my embarrassing life.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Tom, why did you why is it Fruitagami Yoda in this book, not something else?
Okay, see what happens is there's in all the first 5 books and also the how-to book, it's all paper, and they're all making stuff out of paper. So finally the principal is like figures out how to stop all the trouble. She just says no paper, and she actually searches the kids before they get on the bus for the field trip. So no one's allowed to bring any paper along, except for the evil Harvey, who isn't really all that evil, but he sneaks along this evil pickle called Emperor Pickletine. And so they've got to do something to fight Emperor Pickletine. So luckily, Dwight has brought along fruit roll-ups. And so he folds a fruit roll-up into the shape of Origami Yoda. And so that makes Fruitagami Yoda. So the power of Fruitagami Yoda versus the power of the pickle. So that's why it's Fruitagami Yoda. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay, I do want to say one thing. Those fruit roll-ups, man, they are really gross. So if I were you, I would eat a pickle over a fruit roll-up. No, I don't want to make anybody think pickles are evil. Preservatives and artificial colors are what's evil. Okay.
Yes.
Why did you write such a depressing book about like knives and stuff?
You know, that's a great question, and I didn't know that would be in my bio tonight. There's so many other things to mention. So many other things. I'm a real nice guy, I promise. You know that. So for a while, I actually was making a living as a humor book writer, and it started with this book called All My Friends Are Dead, and it looks like a kid's book. It has a dinosaur on the cover, and this book actually, a lot of the books came from different sort of methods. This book actually, I'm getting around to your question in a second. This, I was looking through National Geographic, saw a drawing of a dinosaur, put a little word bubble next to him, wrote All My Friends Are Dead on it, ripped it out, and just sort of had it sitting around my apartment. Showed it to some friends. They liked it. I turned it into a button that people wore, gave it out to some friends, made it into a shirt with my buddy, and we sold shirts for a little while, and we were shirt makers. And then we made this little mini book. We would staple it together. We'd go to Kinko's, you know, every couple of months, and we'd sell these little mini books off our website. And we ended up putting them in stores. And an editor actually found the little. It was a 12-page stapled together mini book that we made by hand. Found it in a store, contacted us, and asked if we'd like to turn that 12-page book into a 96-page book. And it all happened very accidentally. And this ended up, you know, enabling me to quit my then job and write full time. And so the book that was mentioned, K is for Knife Ball, that was, so then we did a sequel to the All My Friends Are Dead book, and that just seemed like the natural progression.
Just meaner.
Yeah.
Wow.
No. It's not that mean. It's not that mean.
I may be summing this up, but what I got from that was that you wrote it for money. Was the answer? Was that the answer?
For money and being meaner.
Man,
money and meanness.
There's a lot of mean authors on this panel. Am I right, everyone?
Yes, over on the right here.
Hey, Larry.
Cece?
For me? Okay.
I love your LDFO book.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And to make you even happier, I actually wear a FM system at school to help me hear better.
He wears an FM system too.
Oh, you have one too. Oh, that's cool. I bet does it look a lot different from the one that I have?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little smaller, I hope.
And Jury, what'd you do to get back from the prank from all the car wrapped up your girlfriend's car?
Yeah, the exact same prank a month later. Real original. It felt good at the time. Yeah, and it was 2004. You know. Good question.
Cece, did you ever feel like you ever fit in with others, or were you always mostly self-conscious?
Did you ever start to fit in, or have you always felt self-conscious?
That's a really hard question. In certain situations, and this is true of everybody, I think, in certain groups, I definitely feel like I fit in. Up here, nah. Weirdos.
That was so comfortable. Didn't that look great? That looked great, right? Yeah.
No. But if you're talking specifically about my hearing, I have gotten a lot less self-conscious about it as I've gotten older, which has been a great thing. But it took a very long time to get there, which is really silly when you think about it, but it did. But I think I've come a long way. Tom has known me for over half my life, and would you agree that I've gotten better?
Yes.
Or worse. Anyway, but yeah, it has gotten a whole lot better. Ethan, thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
Tom, what gave you the idea for Origami Yoda?
Okay, well, so like I said, I'd seen that Kawahara Yoda, and I'd made my own, and then I put it on my finger, And Cece came home, and I was like, look, an origami Yoda. It's on my finger. It's a finger puppet. And she was like, okay. But then I kept it around. But see, if it hadn't been a finger puppet, I probably would have put it in a drawer or something. But because it's a finger puppet, I went around with it on my finger. And I was like, wait a minute, man. What if I made it talk to people? What would it say? And I knew it would only say smart stuff, because Yoda would never say anything dumb, right? Yoda's smart. He's not dumb. So I knew it would say smart stuff. And then it was like, oh, my gosh. What if I could go back? You know, what if when I was in school and I was like the weirdest kid in school and this loser, and I was always crying every time we played baseball. What if I could have had Yoda back then be like, dude, listen, you're no good at baseball. Just learn to live with it. Don't cry every time. Yoda could have given me that advice. I wouldn't have made a fool out of myself at every single time we've had PE. And so that was the very first story, was Yoda helps this kid come to grips with being a terrible baseball player. That was the first one. And then after that, I was like, he could have helped with every other problem I had. And so luckily I had enough problems to fill 6 books.
But, like, how did you get, like, the idea of, like, Dwight's origami Yoda and the emergency 5-fold Yoda and, like, the origami Yoda that you can fold in the
we got a
first book?
historian here.
Yeah,
like
you know your stuff. You know your stuff. Okay, so, okay. All right, well, it gets a little complicated, but the book, I got to tell you, you asked me where these ideas come from, and they just happened, and I'm sure these other authors know this too. It's like Dwight became this real person, and I started to know what he would do in a certain situation. And Harvey became a real person. I always knew what Harvey would say. I almost never had to stop to think, what would Harvey say? I was always right there. And like one day, most of those characters are based on people I knew. One day, this whole new character named Murky popped up in my head, and he was saying the word Stooky. And it didn't come from anywhere. It existed all of a sudden. And there's only one rational explanation I can think of for it. Are you ready? The Force.
Actually, me and my friend at school actually sometimes use Murky's words.
Do you say Stooky at school?
Yeah, we say Stooky, Pickpock, all that.
Oh, that's Stooky!
And
All
even
right,
Plastic
you're
Dinosaurs
so
and Total Rockets.
Thanks, dude. You are Total Rockets.
Should we see if we can do a lightning round, just like real fast answers to these questions and lock the lines down?
3-word answers.
Yep.
Questions about 8:30, so 4 more minutes. So
oh my gosh, 4 minutes.
All right.
Okay, Tom, I know you have a lot of questions right now. So, I know that I have read the blog. Trust me. And I know that some super folders are going to have, like, Dr. Glue or something.
Right. Dr. Glue. It's kind of like Doctor Who, except he's glue.
Nice. All right, on the right side. Ask your question as fast as you can.
Tom, do you have an Ewok puppet?
Yes, I do.
On the left side.
What's your favorite Star Wars character?
Who are you asking? Should we everybody?
All at once. Frank Einstein.
Yoda.
Right side.
On the right side.
Tom, why did you make Fun Time in these?
Fun Time is real.
On the left side.
For Cece, were you ever bullied wearing your equipment for your hearing?
Were you ever bullied because of it?
No, never. Surprisingly.
Yay, right
yeah.
side.
Cece, did you ever actually make up the superhero El Defo as yourself in your head?
Was like El Defo a real thing in your head?
Yes, it was. It was a real thing in my head when I figured out that I actually had superpowers with the phonic ear. So yeah, a real thing.
Left side.
Why did you two want to prank each other?
Oh, you sound like my mom.
Right side.
Okay, John, this might take a little bit of work to put into a 3-word answer.
Okay.
So, I know a recent chatbot has chatbot has passed the test. I forget exactly what it is
The
called.
Turing test. Yeah.
Yeah, the Turing test for AI.
Yes.
What is your opinions about AI?
Lightning round. What are your
It's a little
opinions
bit of
about
work.
artificial intelligence?
It's a little bit of
It
work.
is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Left side.
did you make up like Mike? Did you make up the fact that he had like sad tears and angry tears just because interesting, or because you did actually have mad tears and you just wanted to prove it to everybody? Because they never actually got the fact that you cried mad tears.
I've got so much I want to say. I can't think of 3 words for it, but yes, it's all true. It's all true. Yes, right time.
What inspired you to write about Frank Einstein?
Science.
Wow.
Why did you end the series? Because they're going to have a lot of problems in high school.
Yeah, they sure will.
Yes, on the right.
John, what gave you the inspiration for the Stinky Cheese Man?
The Gingerbread Man.
Ooh.
Left side.
Tom, did Cece inspire you to make Dwight's girlfriend?
Yes. She is. Oh, I wasted my 3 words. Yes, I'll tell you later. Yes, it's all true.
Tom, why did you make the expression "what the hut"?
Oh, well, I couldn't say what the other thing. Left side.
I've read extra yarn to lots and lots of kids in my library, and they all want to know where the yarn went and then why it came back. And they're very literal about it, so I'm wondering what I know that you want us to figure it out, but what were you thinking when you made that happen?
That's the question.
And that's 3 words, right? 3 words.
Or with the dirt.
All right, looks like our last question right here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Tom, where'd you get the idea of Gizmo and Soapy the monkey, and why do they cuss?
Oh my gosh, that's so many questions. Oh my gosh.
That's good.
Yeah, Soapy the monkey, totally real. Guy used to come to my school with a monkey puppet and teach us about feeling good about ourselves.
Yeah, all right.
All right, thank you for coming, everybody. Look at that, right on time.
Good. Okay, everybody, please stay in your seats for just a second. We're going to do the raffle of the books that we have by Jury and Mac. We are going to be doing a signing line that will go one line that will go across the stage, and you can go from author to author. I need to ask the folks back there, the tech folks, can we move this podium out of the way? Is that possible?
Yeah, and can I say one thing about the signing, too?
Yeah.
Just in from the airport, John Clausen is here.
Okay. All right.
What? Hey! So he'll be signing books back there with us.